Uh, yeah, I was, really pleased because, those of you that have been following like the last couple of games, we just thought we turned down a lot of open shots in those games. And our emphasis in this game was to let it fly. We got people open and people that shoot a good percentage from three that, are shot faking. And so we had a great deal of emphasis on that. And so that was the thing I was most pleased with is that when we were open, we shot it. And, we saw the benefit of that and we saw, a fair amount of them go down, which was great. We knew that Washington wasn't going to go away. They were down 18 at their place. Dallas came back and won the game. We talked about that. Unfortunately, the third quarter, they came out with a greater sense of urgency than what we did. And give them credit, they cut it to 2, but we answered. And so I appreciated that we regained our focus. And, that's a team over there that's got a lot that they're dealing with, minute restrictions and everything else. And so, I felt good being able to come out here with a W.
Coach, Ariel even talked a few days ago about how big a game this was for her playing against her old team, and she's an emotional player to begin with. But then she and Madam came out in the fourth quarter and basically spurred you guys to a 15-0 start.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Can you just talk about, as she's getting back to, what she is, the impact she's having both on the court and kind of emotionally?
Yeah. What my favorite part about her today was that she was efficient. Those shooting percentages, her shot selection, I think in the other games, and I think it's probably what she's talking about in terms of getting back, she wasn't as poised. I thought she was kind of racing through some stuff. And I thought she had really good command of what she was trying to get done. And, what you see from AP, that's what I felt like this team needed. We need that personality. We need that edge. And she's going to give it to you every single time, that it never wanes with her. It's always there. And, as I told her, I was really happy. Not the former team thing. I don't get caught up in that because there's so many players that play against former teams. I mean, that's not a big deal. Maybe it was a big deal for her because she wasn't able to play the game in Washington, but it's about, obviously, the team situation, but for AP, just because she's been working through it and to have a productive game and help us win, I know it feels really good for her.
The bench, 39 points.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just big. I mean, Powers and Bantam were part of every kind of good thing that happened for you tonight.
Bantam was great. I told her, I think she felt like she played 42 minutes, but she only played 22 minutes and was asking for a sub. And I said, no, I don't, you shouldn't be tired. It's only 22 minutes. You've been out there. 8 of them were in the first half. So, but she was that good. I think we needed her on the floor. Her decision-making was mostly good. And what we were trying to get a player that can put us in pick and roll and make some good things happen for the overall team. And I thought, she had a nice assist to Syl for an easy basket, which, Syl enjoys that when sometimes it can be a little easier. But overall, I thought our team had really good focus. I thought Rachel was very, very locked in on getting to places where she could share the ball to find open teammates. And so, obviously we know she can shoot the 3, but the 8 assists, that was something we were really happy with.
Sure. When things started to go south there in the third quarter, especially towards the end of the quarter, do you have to say something to the team, or did somebody just step up, or they just take it among
Said
themselves?
a lot. Yeah. Said a lot.
You said a lot, I'm sure. Yeah.
And we felt it I felt it at the end of the second quarter. I thought it started heading that way. And so we talked a lot at halftime, about, just what we should expect and how they're going to come out. We didn't defend the paint very well at all. We didn't defend one-on-one very well in the third quarter. That's exactly how I thought that they would respond, meaning Washington. What I like, and, when I'm, jawing at them and really, being a little more frustrated with them, this team has done a really good job of getting into huddles and saying, hey, let's stick together right now. Let's lock in on what we got to do next. And so that maturity, is something that in those moments I feel good about. They don't fall apart when I really start getting after them, which we did in the early part of the season. So we've come a long way, I think, in our maturity and handling difficult moments in the game, and sort of fixing what needed to be fixed. And Syl has been so incredibly patient and calm. Today was frustrating from an official standpoint. So that's probably a little bit more frustrating than I've seen Syl lately. But she's just been kind of the head of the calm, when there's a storm kind of all around, and then, Syl will be one to, just kind of calm everybody down. But I thought that was happening across the board. They didn't get down on each other. They knew who was making mistakes and why something happened, and they don't jaw at each other. They just tried to fix it. And so I think that's part of what makes us good is that, we're able to stick together in those tough times.
So this was one of those games, even with Tina Charles having a minutes restriction, where you got to see some of the people, the MVP candidates on the court at the same time. So what do you think Sylvia's game tonight said about her as a possible MVP winner?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Syl is, the epitome of efficiency. Every night, tonight she's 5 of 6 in just, the 18 minutes. The foul trouble early, in the game in the first half is what led to fewer minutes than normal. And then just being able to, let Natalie play the game, there's not very many nights that we're able to say Syl can, sit and watch and enjoy her teammates. Syl's 3 blocks, there's just, if you watch Syl play, you just go, she's a woman among girls, so to speak. She's just so physically dominant, and what she's doing, she does really well. If you don't guard her in the paint, she's gonna just bury you. So, makes her free throws, gets rebounds, block shots, just being Syl. And that's what she does.
So you finished a 4-game homestand, holding all 4 teams under 40%. Today, you kind of added the offensive part of it to it. So 2 questions. I mean, you have to feel really good about where your team defense is right now in general.
Yeah.
And 2, was it good to see Fee kind of have an efficient night that she's been trying so hard to have in recent games?
That was a goal going into this game, was to try to establish Fee, because we need Fee. We need Fee, and she needs to figure it out. Now playing a little bit different position, without Dantas, and I think she felt good. And she even had, probably could have been more efficient. She had a layup there at the end of the third that didn't go. But yeah, we needed Fee. She shot when she was open mostly. I thought she turned down a couple threes. And I just don't want anybody turning down threes, because you get later in the possession and somebody else is going to be forced to take a bad shot when you don't take a shot that you're supposed to take. But Fee was really good, and she was charged with guarding Tina in the minutes that Tina was out there and Fee was out there. So that was a little bit new for us. And I wanted Fee to, accept that challenge. And I thought she did well in that as well. Yeah, on the defensive end. Yep. Oh, our team defense. Yes. Yeah, I don't know the last time we had 4 in a row games where we held opponents below 40%. I don't know if that's happened before. I know it was sporadic in the first part of the season. So I certainly love overall where our team defense is, coupled with our rebounding. I thought tonight we had a few more lapses than what we had been seeing, but that's also probably a byproduct of how much Washington has spread you out and shoot the threes. But 4 in a row below 40% to push our record to 131-4 since 2011. That's a 4-game homestand I'll take every day of the week.
We'll go last question to Danny on the Zoom. Danny, go ahead.
Hey, Cheryl, how are you?
Hi, Danny. Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I was wondering, you touched on this a little bit, but obviously you had to go to Natalie a little bit more at the 5 with Syl, in foul trouble. How do you think she did, just in terms of what she brought with her playmaking and her defensive coverage on Tina Charles?
I thought Natalie's minutes, in being able to play extended minutes. When you play behind Syl, you're not getting extended minutes. And so I think it's sometimes hard for Natalie to kind of, for us to appreciate all that she brings to the table, because it's over a course of time that you saw 4 assists tonight. You saw her battle defensively in the post. And, You know, when, you know, the ball moves, when she's out there and her flashing and screening. And so, you know, to Natalie's credit, this isn't a player who walks around moping or complaining that she doesn't get these extended minutes. So I wanted Natalie to be able to play extended minutes tonight. We thought that was really important, knowing that Washington was going to have minute restrictions and, you know, that sort of thing. So I think Natalie, that's a glimpse of, you know, what she can do. And, you know, if she gets those minutes consistently, I have to say 2022 is, you know, is it 22, 2140 is hard to do when you're playing behind Sil, is what it is. But there'll come a time, you know, when she will get those extended minutes and you know, that you saw tonight a little bit of her value.
Thank you, coach.
All right. No practice tomorrow. Can't take the day off.
It's okay, I'll tag myself.
See, it had to feel good to have a efficient performance across the board. It felt like you really found a comfort zone tonight.
Yeah, it did feel good. Especially, you know, I feel like I've struggled a little bit the past couple of games, just kind of getting the shots I always get, but being a little rushed and obviously missing those easy ones are really frustrating. So it felt good to put them in today.
Can you just talk about Ariel? I mean, it was a big game for her against her old team. You know,
Mhm.
she's pretty emotional to begin with. Just to talk about, you know, what she was like heading into this game and what her kind of emotion can bring to this team.
She was pretty even keeled going to the game. Obviously, whenever any of us, not me, because I've only been on this team, but any of my teammates play the team that they've been on, you just want to beat them that much more, just to kind of, you know, punch it in a little bit more. So I knew AP was excited for this game, and her energy is great for us. We have a lot of kind of even keeled people on our team for the most part. She's definitely the most hype one, and it just brings a lot of energy when she's like that.
Yeah, obviously the third quarter was not pretty, for lack of a better phrase, but how did this
Mhm.
team turn it around, go on that, you know, basically take over?
I think just identifying why it wasn't pretty and what we were doing, and then making those adjustments, especially, you know, being up by, you know, I think 15 at one point or more, and then having them come so close. It's, you know, frustrating for us as a team. So we kind of had to get back to what we were doing when we first built that lead. And we know that everyone is good in the league, so they're going to go on runs, but we just have to make sure that it's not because of what we're doing. It's because they're playing well.
So even with Sylvia not playing as much tonight, with her getting in foul trouble early, I was kind of wondering, with her being a possible MVP candidate, what effect does she have on you and how you play and even off the court?
Well, on the court, obviously we play a lot different when Syl's on there because she is an MVP candidate and she's a Hall of Famer. We want to get her the ball, so our offense obviously involves getting into the post a little bit more. And off the court, she's just such a solid individual. Someone that even my rookie year, I felt like I could always go to her for anything. And she's obviously been in the league for a long time. She's our vet, so we look to her for guidance and for you know, motivation, things like that. So she's kind of our everything that we look to for. Yeah.
We'll go last question to Danny on the Zoom. Danny, go ahead.
Hey, Fee, I was wondering if you could talk a bit about Rachel Bannum's game tonight and just what she brought with her playmaking.
Yeah, Rachel had a great game, and she is such a great playmaker. I think she had 8 assists, which is awesome. And the fact that she is such a good 3-point shooter brings the defense out, which helps everyone else. And then she's able to drive too. And then if she does drive, she can dish. So really just keeping our offense flowing and creating things for other people and kind of making sure that everything runs smoothly. So it's awesome.
Thank you, V.
Thank you.
Hey, that's what we do. That's what we do.
So I think a 23-point lead was down to 2 points at one point in the third, and then entering the fourth, and you guys just took off. You and Ariel kind of led the way. Can you just talk about how you kind of stopped the bleeding and got things going the other way?
Yeah, I would just say like bringing energy. we had to string together a couple stops, but I feel like a lot of it was just ball movement on the offensive end. We were just moving around. I mean, it helps when you're hitting a couple shots too. But I just thought that we just spread energy and just moved the ball.
Danny, go ahead.
Hey, Rachel. Obviously, season high for you in assists with 8. What was working for you with your playmaking tonight?
I think just the Pulsar setting really good screens and rolling out of it. We really emphasized that in shoot around today. And also looking for the U-turn pass. I just think combos. We were just playing together, moving the ball, like I said earlier. But it started with the post setting really good screens.
Talk about, I mean, Ariel playing against her old team. She talked after the last game how kind of big it was, and she's pretty emotional to begin with. I mean, what did she mean to this team, and could you kind of feel her emotion?
Yeah, I mean, I was really happy for her. It's always kind of an emotional game when you play your old team, no matter the departure or whatever. It's just an emotional thing. But I was happy for her. She brought good energy. That's obviously what she does as an energy player. She's an emotional player. But yeah, I was just happy for her. She hit really tough shots, and she hit shots that we really needed just to kind of like spread that lead out a little bit. So yeah, it was really good. I'm glad that she had that kind of a game against her old team.
Danny, are you good? Did you have any other questions?
That's all for me.
All righty. Thank you, Rach.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you. You might want to be a photographer after this.
Let's see if I can.
Oh, tradition now. It might be a tradition.
Ariel, you talked after the last game about how this was going to be an emotional one for you against your old team.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you keep yourself under control? I mean, I think the most efficient performance since you've been on this
Thank
team. Just talk about the emotions that we're going through and as this game went on.
It was so exciting, any player is excited to play their old team. I had my my coach from Michigan State here, one of the players, my mom was here, and a couple other my friends. And usually when you get like that, you get too high. So the whole time today and last night, I was just okay. Stay in your mojo, stay AP, and just let the game come to you. Don't try to force too much. So that's what I did.
Talk about the fourth quarter. They had pulled within 4, and suddenly a game that looked like it was kind of going to be a walk was going to be, and then you guys come out and score the first 15 points of the fourth quarter. You and Rachel each have 5 points in that run.
Okay.
Just talk about that start to the fourth. How did you guys stop the bleeding and get going?
I know we came to the bench at one point and was like, okay, that's their run. It's time for ours. Games is basketball is a game of runs. And also, how do you react to those runs? Do you feel defeated? Do you go in and say, woe is me? Or do you come out on top? And that's what our team did. We came out aggressive. I think we had a couple stops that led to some offense, and we kind of opened the game back up for ourselves.
So even she did have limited minutes tonight, but since you have gotten to Minnesota, what effect has Sylvia Fowles had on you both on and off the court?
Beast. Okay, I'm just gonna say beast. It's so great to play with her. I haven't had a lot of games with her, but I'm learning to play with her. She talks to me a lot of times coming up the screens because sometimes I just want to go. She's like, wait on it. She is just literally a living legend. I mean, she puts up numbers that it just makes it look so easy, right? And afterwards, when you look at the stat sheet, it's like that's what she was doing. She's just doing it so effortlessly. We need her. We need her out there on the court to be a leader, which she has been, and locked in. And she makes sure our team goes. So she's amazing.
You have different energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how does that compliment?
I think it compliments because opposites kind of attract, right? And I think that's what we're doing right now. We're meshing. I'm trying to mesh as best as I can with my team. I know I set a lot of the season out, so I'm trying to come in and still gel with my team because I think that's important in winning this championship. All of us gelling, and somehow we're learning each other, and I'm feeling very confident in her and our relationships on the court right now. Like I feel really good about it.
You've been through the hamstring and the thumb and all that. You jumped in, I think, without having practiced and started playing. I mean, how close are we now to seeing to you being kind of comfortable in where you're at, or is there still more to come?
I think it's still more to come. I think I'm right now climbing a ladder, right? You mentioned I hadn't played, I hadn't played in practice yet, which was correct. Sometimes out there when I first started, I was asking teammates to talk me through plays. Even today, I asked a few. So just climbing and getting better every time I step foot on the floor, whether it's practice or games, and just starting to be more efficient. I don't think this game I was efficient. The couple last games I was not efficient to my standards, and I think that comes with playing. I haven't been playing for I said like 9 weeks for the thumb and then a few weeks for the hamstring. So, the Minnesota fans have been supporting me, and I'm thankful for them because it's a grind to get back to who you are, and I'm still trying to do that. One game doesn't solidify me getting back, so I need to be more consistent.
We'll go last question to Danny on the Zoom. Danny, go ahead.
Hey, AP, congrats on a great game. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I was wondering if you could talk a bit about Rachel Banham. Obviously, y'all shared the court a lot tonight, coming off the bench together. What did you see from her in terms of her playmaking?
I think she had 8 assists, right? Yes. So, I mean, she's sitting the floor really well, and it's so great because she's crafty. I don't think she gets a lot of credit for being so crafty. You don't know when she's gonna pull up. You don't know when she's gonna pass it. She's really getting active in that spot, and she's playing that PG role really, really good. It's helpful for our team, especially helpful for that second group to kind of get in that rhythm, and she controls us, and we're thankful for that.
Alrighty. Thank you, AP.
All right. See y'all.
Thanks, AP.